All right, gonna make another video on the whole point of this and the shift. What is that in detail? Essentially, what the shift is, or ascension or rapture, is a shift to higher earth, essentially. But what does that mean? So people consider their ideas of truth seeking and or uncovering truths and all this. What is essentially the end game here? Like essentially, if you really dig deep into thinking about it, what happens in 4 to 8 years if it just decides to be voted out and more evil comes back in? Of course, I have to be conscious about what I say here without my video getting flagged. But with that said, um, essentially, you know, for people that don't understand what's going on or uncovering certain truths, what is the point of all this? If, again, in 4 to 8 years, it just repeats, like, and all the work we did is just vaporized, you know? So there has to be a bigger thing going on here, a bigger truth going on here. And that's essentially what this a great awakening is. As we go into this new age, this is considered beforehand the great tribulation. Essentially, it's the ultimate last test for our soul before graduation. And so, um, a lot of people think of it as the shift, but there's other names for it. There is ascension, the rapture, the day of the Lord, the golden age, the age of Aquarius, the great divide, the shift of the ages, the shift to Sheen, which is essentially Sheen is the fifth dimension in Earth. That's what the name of it is. Um, yeah, so anyway, in my own words, here's what I understand essentially, um, how to explain it in a plausible, realistic, applicable way. So here we go. So to start, you have to consider the reality of what is. Okay, consider our reality as physical matter, but realistically, nothing is actually solid. It's just all energy and motion, essentially. Think about like the golden ratio. Okay, like what is that? Essentially, it's how something you think about in reality can always be cut in half infinitely. Take the smallest thing of matter that you know of and cut it in half. Well, guess what? That can go on forever. So once you understand that solid matter is really just energy vibrating at a particular frequency, you can start to come on board with what I'm about to explain. Um, at a certain point, matter can be altered, changed. It's just energy, so it moves. It's something else at some point. So, okay, so if you go into that realization of it's all just energy and nothing's actually solid, then you can go into, well, what is the Mandela effect? And then you can kind of attain affirmations when you put all the pieces together into a plausible way, like a reasonable, scientific based analyzation. And of course, you can't prove a lot of this stuff per se, but from a certain point of view, you can reasonably gather an outcome. So, with that said, the Mandela effect, outside of our understanding of what matter is, and that's just energy in motion, right? Is to understand, well, what does that mean? What is the Mandela effect? When you look at the Mandela effect, this is where you can actually find some real affirmation, because at what point does it become mathematically impossible for millions of people to simply be misremembering things, misremembering the past? There are easily over 100 documented examples, if not more, of people misremembering what's really going on. Well, essentially, those are tiny shifts of reality, shifting. Moments where at a instant it occurs, no one actually notices that we've been that we have shifted to alternate timelines. Sometimes a less cool version shaped by the creativity of the one before it. So like certain things, like I don't know, Fruit of the Loom logo was a more creative, real, and now it's kind of lamer. Certain songs don't have certain lines in it. It's not as good. Um, there's certain things are just not as good as they used to be. Certain movies and lines are missing completely or just altered. And there's hundreds of examples. So how does this happen? Well, essentially higher dimensional beings who have been here since the beginning of time, who are observing us, the watchers, um, have induced this. They're the ones that will essentially also trigger the large shift that we're talking about here, the global shift, the shift to fifth dimension Earth as well. So they determine when a timeline shift is necessary to keep us on the most optimal path towards this shift itself. So I suspect that we've shifted maybe a handful or two times in the last 10 years, maybe 15 years, 20 years, something like that. 20 years. So now that you understand essentially like what the shift is in the sense, or I should say what energy is and how it kind of circumvents with what I've explained about Mandela effect and all that, you can kind of put those all pieces together and kind of understand how it works. But here's what I want to emphasize. This is not them saving us. We are earning it, essentially, through our time here as souls, having this experience. So it's not something that is going to rescue people all around the world. It's really about how you are, ultimately. And don't get twisted, most people are going to make it, even if you're just a ignorant person that kind of means well and just is angry, but stays at home and pets your cat all day. You will be okay. That's what I'm getting at. Is it's just you have to be a decent human being, and you will make it. Ignorance, a lot of it is bliss, but ultimately, we're going to mostly be okay. You just can't be evil, which is essentially the definition of knowingly causing harm to others without remorse on repeat. So anyway, who will shift essentially? Billions of decent humans all at once from this earth, and it'll be recorded on cameras all over the world. People would disappear instantly, as mentioned in the Bible essentially as well. Matthew 24:40-41. 2 men working in the field, one is taken, one is left behind. But again, this isn't about what you believe, it's about literally how you are as a human being, which is common sense. Common sense essentially is love in my eyes, because it's common sense, and anyway, that's my take. So when it happens, millions of cameras, like I said, will capture people literally disappearing right in front of them. Panic will set in here for others, and the world will experience literal chaos on Earth here while we're gone. So again, we never defeat evil in duality. We literally leave it behind instantly. So people that are all fighting for this champion of defeating evil here is like literally just a hamster on a wheel. You're spinning in circles. You're not going to get anywhere. I mean, it might feel good and all that, but at the end of the day, you never defeat evil in duality. We will leave it behind. Yeah, here on Earth, it'll be similar to like the Purge or like the Walking Dead, essentially, after we disappear. And it's going to be bad. But the idea of even after the fact of that happening, people can still choose to forgive themselves, vibrate, whatever, and after the fact can still shift. So it's not like an end-all be-all in some sense, and ultimately everyone will be taken care of one way or the other. But even like, okay, so let me just go into the next thing here. What it will feel like, essentially. When it happens, it will feel like waking up from a dream for everybody that shifts. And right now, all of our lives are slowly merging into one. So sometimes when people have like deja vu, ultimately what I've understood is like, it's a parallel lifetime of yours current to you now, perhaps passing away in that reality. And passing away in that reality and merging with you as you are. So that's essentially what we're experiencing now in this great tribulation. And so people will be shocked in the moments right after, that who have shifted as well, with that feeling that something glorious has just happened, something wonderful or miraculous just occurred. Consciously, people will be upgraded with a sudden burst of like conscious knowing, like a blast of conscious. And all the lies and false beliefs of this 3D realm will kind of just fade away. Humans will also be upgraded in body form. So elderly people will find themselves youthful again. There will be no more aging. You can still get hurt, but you'll heal quickly, and there won't be any more death, like I said. So that's the new norm we will literally be embodied with. And again, it'll feel like waking up from a dream. It is what it is until it isn't. So people can, like I said, get injured, but they'll heal quickly, and people will still have the ability to create families. And it'll be a physical world that we experience linearly, just like here. And what I believe is that we will shift to a starting point where it'll be the year 2021 of April 2nd, but it doesn't mean anything. It's not like we're going back in time. It's just a starting point moving forward in that realm. So the idea outside of all this is now it's talking about star seeds versus earth native souls. So a lot of people that are vibing with this video, more than likely, you like this kind of information because you ultimately, your soul is a star seed, meaning that your soul originated in higher realms, like 12th dimension to be specific, and Elohim, and you reside in the 7th dimension physically. But you have agreed to reincarnate here time and time again in the 3rd dimension for experience, yada yada, to make a difference, you name it. But ultimately, the shift or the ascension to 5D Earth isn't for starseed people. It's for Earth native souls who have never been anywhere else other than on Earth. So when they pass away, life review, they come back on Earth, reborn again, try not to repeat the same mistakes, and continuously learning. They do this because there's really nowhere else for that soul to go. But anyway, yeah, so that's the idea of like what the ascension ultimately is in the sense of Earth native souls versus starseeds. Now, if you were to pass away before the shift happens and you're a starseed, you will find yourself on your home planet, 7th dimension. And you can then, after the shift happens, come back and visit in your true form. And telepathy-wise, that people will have at that point, or slowly over time, you'll be able to know who your loved ones are via that way, even though they're different looking. If you are a Earth native soul and pass away before the shift happens, since we're this close to the shift, you will not reincarnate, but you will be held in a light haven. And when the shift happens, you can then be reborn via families that make love to each other or whatever in that realm, in 5th dimension Sheen. So yeah, that's the idea of that. Life after the shift, essentially people will work for the love of it. There will be abundance, but without the need for money, essentially. When the shift occurs, your possessions stay, essentially. You might still have your sports car sitting in the garage where it might just have a little bit of an upgrade to it of some kind. What do I have? And so basically, yeah, and you could even still have your Bitcoin in your wallet, for example. But at a certain point, we're not going to really need money. So there's small transitions that we'll have at first, but over time, we're not going to need things. People will work because they enjoy it, not because they have to. So there's some ideas right there as well. And let me see what else we have. Okay, just going through a little bit of my notes. Okay, so you can also, so once the shift happens as well, we will meet our extraterrestrial and inner Earth family as well. we'll meet them from, we will know them from telepathy, and just in general, we will be able to recognize them, and they will greet us in open arms, and there won't be any fear for that. It'll be more of a curiosity, if anything. Um, yeah. So people over time will have certain abilities, like I said, telepathy before, and they'll also slowly remember all their past lives they've ever lived. Um, Now, anatomy wise, we'll no longer have blood, um, and we'll have crystalline hearts that circulate light instead. Um, we won't essentially ever want to, or we won't eat meat anymore, but neither will animals either. Lions, you name it. It'll be unlimited types of food, though, in some sense, where of luscious fruits, vegetables, and fungi, like mushrooms and stuff like that, and other fruits and things that we've never even had before will be there as well, and it'll taste amazing, like nothing we've ever had here, essentially. But believe it or not, we won't go to the bathroom anymore either. It'll just be ability will break down in our body and circulate into energy. Um, so that's kind of weird, but if you understand higher Earth, think about like higher Earth, but like with septic tanks. That doesn't make any sense, right? So, if you want to laugh at that, you can. Um, outside of that, yes, sex will still be a thing, but it won't. But it'll be with one chosen mate for your remaining time on fifth dimension, because of telepathy and all these other things. You won't really have any way to deceive our loved ones or anything like that. It'll just be we'll just know that this is our person, and everyone's going to be pretty attractive anyway. So there's really going to be any kind of well, I like this one now or something like that. It's going to be more. It'll be way more pure and honest, and authentic. And childbirth won't be painful for women, and the child will be able to choose as long as they want to be a child for until they grow up. But they can remain a child for as long as they want. Um, so yeah, that's about that. And then so a little more on starseeds is if you're well, actually no, I already had that. I already said that. So yeah, okay, so cool. So that's essentially what I kind of brought together, and I hope that makes sense to anybody. And if you enjoy this, leave a comment, and if you have any real questions, also please don't hesitate to ask. It seems kind of far-fetched and out there in lots of ways, but not also. Like if you really dig and do deep research on it all connects. And if you read Q, that also is essentially hinting at ascension. Even their last drop was the ascension. But they're telling you in a way to hint at it because they want to gain credibility as well. So for people to read that for years, and it's connected to the president. So, anyways, I hope I didn't get flagged for anything I said here. I want this video to be authentic, or to reach people. So again, let me know what you think about this, and I appreciate your time.